don't make me mad.
Did I say, no, I didn't say.
See everybody.
No, I wouldn't.
See, I had my
Glad it's coming.
it's and so I just opted to hang on. I love it. I do too. I'm scared. I'm scared. I love it. Oh my yes. Hey! Oh yes! Don't be like mama. You look so much. That's how yes, your wife is going to want to rock you graduated with. That's right. That's right. That's we've been there ever since I moved. Ever since we finished. Do you next home you share? Patsy. Patsy and Bill visit us. They're coming down the last weekend of June.
You still see them?
Oh yes, every we can go up there and they come down here every year. And Jim and Bill are 10 days.
I'll take a picture of a guy taking a picture.
And it's wonderful. Yeah, there's our parking man. I'll answer either one, and you both are guests. I don't think you'd like these tags. They recognize you as a hard one. There's somebody.
So what's going on, Brad?
Hey, Rella.
You can have time to stop. I had the doctor's report and it's late. Yeah, I thought I better clean it up. Slow down the line. I know.
Whenever you get to this, let me know and I'll do it.
We're all pretty bad now. Wait, okay.
I'd ask Mom got some about you. See about the
Hi there, Bart. Vance, you, his wife? Did your husband what was it, a banquet or something we had once? Did your husband come with you?
I take a picture.
I keep moving like you and everybody keeps moving. You did all.
Okay, time is up.
Boy, you're Brooks.
You're listening. Other than this, Carol says I have to stay up here. So, it is so good to see each one of you, and I want to welcome each one of you. Mrs. Wolf, I'm so glad to have you be our guests tonight. It's wonderful to see you. Each one of our classmates, you just look great. And
Well, thank you.
I was say we've done all right, haven't we? Yes. And each one of you who are guests, I want to welcome you. Now, I just want to mention something. I want to thank about Mr. James Murphy and Mr. Hurley Miller. They were our sponsors. And Mr. Miller wanted to be here, but it just wasn't possible for him to come. He lives in Florida, and it was hard for him to get away right at this time. But I just want to remember them, that they were our sponsors. And you really, most of you look like true West Virginians. Only a true West Virginian knows the difference between a hissy fit and connection, and that you don't have them, that you pitch them. Only a true West Virginian knows how many fish, collard greens, turnip greens, peas, beans, etc. make up a mess. Only a true West Virginian both knows and understands the difference between a redneck, a good old boy, and cold white trash. Okay, enough of that. Carol and I were talking about the program, and we both said we want to keep it short. So I want to do my part in keeping this short, because I want to visit with each one of you. It's so good to see you. Okay, Mrs. Wolf. I'd like to introduce Mrs. Wolf. She is our faculty. And how did you slip in, Mr. Hardman? I didn't see you come in. Mrs. Wolf and Mr. Hardman, and this is your wife, right? Mrs. Hardman? It's so good to have you three. And now I want to recognize our officers. By the way, I don't think any of us knew we were going to still be officers 45 years later. Our vice president was Thomas Eisenhart. Our secretary, Norma Curry. Where are you? Okay, would you like to introduce your guest?
Oh, Jackie, my guest is this one, Mrs. Wolf. My husband, James, will love this.
Our treasurer was Ranny, driver, right, Ranny Benoit. Our historian was Carol Gaynor. Carol, do you have a guest? Where'd he go? Oh, she's got him working. He has been a busy man. She has just kept him working like you wouldn't believe. By the way, Carol has really kept up with this historian business. Student council representative, Rosemary Collins McCowan. And I think we all recognized her. Cheerleader was Lois Moore Cooper. Okay. And now, if we'll start over here and go down this table and then over that way, and if you will each introduce your guest, that would be good. Edsel? And all of you know George, Rose, Brooks, okay, it's good to have you. Okay, Marvin Wilson, Blair Wilson, George Miller just came, and none of us have gotten a chance to talk with him yet. Junior. I tried to give Jerry Junior's name tag. Well, he took it. Junior's name tag. But he brought it back. He was like, okay, Jerry. Rex.
Hi, this is my wife Fran. I call her Francis, but we name Fran.
Fran today. And June White Schaefer.
My husband Charles.
Orville Miller. And Jack Britt. Florence, have you gotten to greet everyone?
I know I haven't met Elsie's one yet, I know I know. And there's a few I haven't gotten around to, but this is my husband Jack.
And Randy Illinois. Howard Conrad.
This is my wife Melina.
And Nadine Wiley Jack. Did I miss anyone? Okay. Carol is going to have a report of those that aren't here. Carol?
Thank goodness I don't have very many to report on. Every member of our class has come tonight except 6. And Patricia Baker Spencer was going to come, and at the last minute, she is just so very ill that she says she simply couldn't make the trip. But I went ahead and fixed her up a package of everything that we're going to give you tonight. Pat is a single mother of 4 children. Larry, 43, works as an industrial tire changer, married to Wanda Leisure, has 2 children, Lydia, 14 years old, and Zach, 12 years old. Catherine Chrisinger, 39 years old, single mother of 2 children, Todd Eric, 14 years old, who's in a home for handicapped children, and Wendy Marie, who's 18 and in junior high school. Brenda Lee, 37 years old, is co-manager of Toys R Us and is married to Jim Davis, advertising manager at JCPenney's in Louisville, Kentucky. They have 2 children, Logan, 8 years old, and Justin, 3 years old. Paula Jo Skinner, 35 years old, single mother of 3 children, Desiree, 13 years old, Nicole, 11 years old, and Cody, 7 years old. Paula works at Domino's Pizza. Pat is retired from Weird and Steel. And the remainder of the information on all of these people, plus I have a copy of this I'll give everyone later. And I have a little game book I prepared on how well do you know your old classmates and teachers. It's a mix and match thing. And all this information will be in there. And then there's Donald Collins, and I was so anxious to see Don. I tried everything to get him to come, but he just wouldn't do it. He's married to Donna and has 1 daughter, Jill, who's 36 years old and lives in Florida. Don spent 2 years in the U.S. Army. He's retired in 1997 from Timpton roller bearing. What Don likes to do most is fishing and camping. Good old Gilmer County boy, I'd say. And Don's address, email, and other information will be in the directory. I made a directory of our class with everyone's name, address, phone number, email, so you can keep in touch with each other. Betty Greenleaf Bird lives on Little Bull Run right up here above Cedarville. She retired in 1999 from the Gilmer County Health Department. Her husband is retired from Dominion Gas. They had 4 children, 2 of whom are deceased. 1 child was killed in March of 1990 and the other in June of 1990. And losing 2 children that close together, I just can't imagine how a person could live through that. And Betty recently had a knee replacement, and getting around right now is quite a chore for her. Melva Smith Krause. I get a note from Melva every year at Christmas time. And I just love getting notes from all these old classmates and keeping in touch with them. And about the only information I have on Melva, she and Carl have a daughter and a son, Danny, 2 grandchildren, Mark, 12, and Patty, 8. Her husband, Carl, has been retired for close to 4 years. She has some health problems, as does her husband, with high blood pressure. And I've heard several people here tonight say that, and it's just kind of a sign of the times. And Melva lost her sister Winona, lost her son Gerald in a motorcycle accident in April of 2000. He was only 14 years old. Jerry Norman is not here tonight, but Jerry told me he would try to come to Normantown tomorrow. He lost his wife Betty on February 6th of this year. So he just hasn't been able to get past dealing with that amount of grief to be here
tonight, but he's hoping to be at Normantown tomorrow. Is he coming tomorrow, George? He's not. All right. Okay, he was married to Betty Boatwright from Calhoun County, and Jerry has been self-employed in construction and is still quite active. In fact, he's going to help his sister Kate and his brother-in-law George back there build their new home on the Rosedale Road. Jerry has one son, Bruce, and daughter-in-law, Shelley. He has 4 grandchildren, Mindy, Brody, Olivia, and Ryan. His son lives within a stone's throw of Jerry's home, which I'm sure makes it nice for Jerry right now. And Mamie Turner McNeamer. Mamie is a widow who lives right here in Glenville, and she works right here at the Senior Citizen Center. And Mamie had been married 42 years when her husband passed away on February 24th of 1999. I did not remember it, but when I talked to Mamie the other day, she reminded me, just like Billy Joe, she graduated at the end of the first semester, got married in April, came back and graduated with us in May. Mamie has 4 children, 3 girls and 1 boy, and 9 grandchildren. 2 of her teachers had planned to be with us tonight but had to cancel out. Margie Jack Snyder's sister Patty passed away just recently. Margie had been in Florida taking care of her sister until her sister's death from cancer. But she said she had to go back to Florida and have her sister's apartment completely cleaned out by May the 31st, and she thought coming here this weekend she just wouldn't have enough time. And Hurley B. Miller was going to be with us, and he backed out on us. He was afraid it would interfere with his garden that he plants every year. But he said to tell everyone that he would be at his trailer on the Rosedale Road for several weeks at the beginning of July. And he would like for anybody and everybody to drop in and say hi to him. And the other one is Mrs. Hannah Lou Hardway. She said she had to make a decision. She and Wendell felt like they couldn't come here tonight and to Normantown tomorrow, so they opted to be at Normantown tomorrow and skip our dinner tonight. And as you probably know, Wendell is the retired president of Fairmont State College. And I ran into Mrs. Hardway at the mall one day, and she said that she and Wendell had never had any children, but she considered all of us her children, and all of our children her grandchildren. And she and Margie both, the last time I saw them, they were just as beautiful as they were when they taught us in high school. But like I said, I have all this in a booklet that I'm going to give to you after supper so you can take it home and read it at your leisure.
At the end of the table, I'd like for each of you to be sure and sign it. It's just as a remembrance of this year. Now, I've only talked to a very, very few, but we think we should plan another reunion. And the few people that I have talked with think that it should be like in 5 years for our 50th year. Does anyone have anything different to say about that? Any comments? Do y'all want to plan for that?
Sure.
Sounds good. Okay. In 5 years, our 50th, will it be this Memorial Day weekend?
That's a big sign because they can go to the alumni museum.
Okay. And that's not your major disagreement. It's for that time, 5 years from now. Want to remind you of the alumni reunion at Normantown tomorrow. I hope each one of you can make it. We can start signing in at 1 o'clock, and that's usually outside. 12 o'clock sign-in starts.
The letter, yeah, I had the letter.
Okay. And the meeting is to start at 2 o'clock, and then we'll visit from the end of the meeting until the meal is to be served at 4 o'clock. And is there anything else I need to say about that? I hope each one of you can make it. Do you remember how much the meal is? Or even if you could buy tickets then?
You can pay there. They'll be collecting right outside the school.
I don't remember how much the meal is, but it's always delicious. We always eat way too much. Okay. There's so many people that need to be thanked for this, getting this together. Carol and I have talked about it for a long time, and then we got Florence involved, and she just went wild. So I surely do want to thank them for, they have done tremendous amounts of work on this thing. You just can't believe how much. So I want to thank you too for that. And over there is an hourglass candle decoration. So one of them is for each of you. You can pick whichever you want. And that's going to be fun. Pardon?
I thought those were all 3 door prizes.
No, they're not. Just one. And Florence, it's going to be really fun seeing you carry that on the airplane. But I figure if you got the books here,
25 books there.
you can get that there. And I didn't dump the sand. It's in the baggie. So
I have took very strange purses on.
okay, you can handle it then, can't you, Chuck?
Yes.
All right. Thank you for each one of you that helped decorate. We had lots of help. Jack was here. We had just lots and lots of help, and I thank you for that. And help us remember that we want to take these balloons over to Normantown, at least part of them, for tomorrow. We get to, the class members get to sit down on the floor, down on the main floor tomorrow. And we think that if we take the balloons there, it would be good to decorate with. Just so help us remember to take them. I remember my memory's not all what it used to be. George, I think now we are ready to eat. Would you ask the blessing for the food? Yes, I'll tell you this now. They're going to serve the food, and they want us to come up and get it. They'll dip it for us, and we'll just go on the assembly line and get it.
I said, this is great. I was thrilled to see all of them out. And I've been preaching the gospel. Thank you for being mine. Every time I get to stand, I'm nervous and this is okay. We want to say that I hope that we see in 5 years. Anyway, if you bow your head with me, Lord. Heavenly Father, as we come to Thee, we come thanking Thee, Heavenly Father, for this gathering. We thank Thee, Heavenly Father, that Thou hast blessed us down through the year. Even back, Heavenly Father, from the time that we assembled at Normantown High School. When Thou provided us, Heavenly Father, with God-fearing faculty, those that taught us things that we needed to know. We would ask Thee, Heavenly Father, as Thou guidest us on through life, that Thou might, Heavenly Father, be in each home that is represented here tonight. Bless the families, Heavenly Father. Help them, Heavenly Father, they might always look unto Thee, the true and the living God. We ask Thee, Heavenly Father, now that Thou might bless the food which is out there for the nation of the Lord. That Thou might, Heavenly Father, bless the hands that prepare the food. Help us, O Lord, that we might always remember that Thou art God and there is no God. We ask all this blessing in Jesus' holy name. Amen.
I want to tell you too, there's coffee over there, there's decaf and regular, there's water at the table, and there is Coca-Cola over here in this cooler. And the cake, whenever you're ready for dessert, I'll go over and cut the cake. There's cinnamon swirl and black raspberry fill, so you'll have your choice. I made that.
Go see who's the fastest. Get in the chow line.
That's where we're gonna be, I know.